Forget everything that you think you know about comics. Some say the battle of good versus evil is never ending because evil always survives. Some say that there are two types of people in this world, those who drink beer and those who enjoy a good comic. But damn it, we are the bridge. And to that we say cheers. We are your guardians, your watchful protectors from everything mundane. Because in the real world, you either die a hero or you drink long enough to see yourself become the villain. There's a war going on out there. How can you be sure you're on the right side? The ageless debate of what's right and wrong brought to your headphones with the simplest of solutions. With great beer comes great responsibility. And we accept that responsibility. For in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape our sight. We are Hop Heroes, bringing the relevance of great beer and comic book stories to light. Hello and welcome to another edition of Hop Heroes, the show where we talk about our favorite drinks and our favorite heroes. I'm your host, Jordan Arith, and with me as always, we have talented artist and comic enthusiast, J.R. Gonzalez.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going swell, man.
Like
I'm actually, so normally we have beer, I'm drinking coffee today because I'm still nursing a hangover from last weekend.
Not
From last weekend?
Last
Bro,
weekend.
30 has not done me justice. My big 3-0 was last weekend. And Brandon, my brother, and his fiance came up into town and surprised us. And we drank 3 half-gallons of Tito's in 3 nights. And
Wow.
I hate my life. And I'm
been
not
hungover all week?
I'm not able to do what I used to do. I mean, I'm okay. Like, I had some drinks last night, but fuck, man, I just can't do it anymore. I thought I was that young pup, that young spry tank I used to be, and I can hold it, but when I get when it's beer, I'm fine, but dude, that liquor, I cannot pound liquor like I used to, man.
Bro, I feel like 30 is not that old. Like,
It's
I don't
not.
really want to, I just don't want to hear that. Like, I feel like you need to do better. Like, I need more commitment from you, more just,
Dude,
resolve. Like,
it was like when the clock struck midnight on August 27th, like when I turned 30 that night, like it just something changed in me.
It's a switch.
I was watching
I can't do
the
this
clock
anymore.
tick up, and I was fine, and then the bell rang, and just like, all right, well, this is my life now.
It's like he's like doing a keg stand and he's surrounded by people, and then he's like, the clock hits midnight, and then like Death Cab for Cutie plays, and it slows down, and the character's dialogue is just looking around as he's upside down.
Heaven
like,
and hell decide.
what is my life about, dude? What am I doing here? I'm 30 now. Why? Why are these my life decisions?
There's no one beside
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's exactly what happened.
Throw up coming through his nose. It's like, maybe I should do different things now.
It was like Cinderella. Like, I knew that, like, when the clock struck midnight, I was gonna lose all my powers, so I ran. I fled the scene before it fucking happened, man.
Get to that pumpkin
was-
as fast as you can.
I tried, and here we are today. So instead of beer and comics, we got coffee and comics today. This is a new man, but no, this is just this week. We'll get back to getting black. Don't worry. But yeah, that was my birthday, and then we got our third host, published author and great friend of ours, Zach Barlow. What's up, Z?
What up?
Some fun stuff to talk about today. It's a Hero Hopdate, so we got a lot of topics to touch on, and our boy Anthony Gramulia is coming in for our first segment of Ask Anthony, which we are stoked for. But before we get to all that, we have some serious stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, August 28th, we lost a good one, a great one. Chadwick Boseman passed away. The man, the legend, the Black Panther, James Brown, Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, all in the shortest span of time, and all while battling stage 4 colon cancer, which I don't think most people were aware of. So he gets a lot of recognition for his Black Panther role. It's obviously what rose him to fame, but he's got quite the backstory. So we were just going to take a moment and touch on his life. He was born in Anderson, South Carolina, the son of Leroy. He worked for an agricultural company and also as an upholsterer, and Carolyn a nurse. He was educated at T.L. Hanna High School, where he first discovered an interest in theater when he wrote a play based on the shooting of a classmate, and at the historically black Howard University, Washington, D.C., where he studied directing. He also won a place on a summer theater course at Balliol College, Oxford. One of his teachers at Howard, the actor Felicia Rashad, arranged for his costs to be covered by celebrity friends of hers, including Denzel Washington. And if you haven't seen the tribute that Chadwick gave to Denzel, Zach sent us that link right when this happened, and it's incredible. So I definitely recommend checking that out. After Boseman was cast in Black Panther, Washington joked, "Wakanda forever, but where's my money?" He taught acting at the Schomburg Theater for research in black culture in Harlem and spent some years scraping by in bits parts on TV shows including ER, Third Watch, and CSI New York before getting recurring roles on the series Lincoln Heights and Persons Unknown. His film career took off when he played the baseball player Jackie Robinson in 42 back in 2013. "It's the way he carries himself, his stillness," noted the film's director Brian Helgeland. "You just have that feeling that you're around a strong person." He came to specialize in movie biopics, completing a hat trick of real-life American icons by playing James Brown in Get On Up, co-produced by Mick Jagger and co-written by the British playwright Jez Butterworth, with civil rights lawyer Thurgood Marshall in Marshall. "I don't think I would have been ready for Black Panther had I not done those 3 roles," he said. His work after Black Panther included thriller 21 Bridges, which he also produced. Preparations for a Black Panther sequel were in early stages. "The only thing I can say about that, for people who are hungry, the food is being prepared," he said in 2019. His final role is in a film adaptation of August Wilson's play Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, to be released later this year. However, his death means that his most poignant performance will be the one he gave in Five Bloods, Spike Lee's film about 4 Vietnam veterans in their 60s who returned to that country decades after the end of the war to collect the remains of their fallen captain. The older cast members, including Clark Peters and Delroy Lindo, play their characters in both the present-day scenes and the early 1970s flashbacks without recourse to de-aging technology or makeup. Consequently, they look creaky and weather-beaten next to the captain, played by Boseman. Having never had the chance to age, he is preserved forever as a blemishless figure of memory, which is how the actor will now remain for audiences also. He is survived by his wife, Taylor Simone Ledward. Any thoughts, you guys? I don't know. What was your reaction? Any thoughts since? It's been about a week or so.
I've been thinking about this for a while now, and when I was like 22 or 23, I had a final moment with my grandmother. My grandmother was a huge baseball fan, and she was always real big into sports. And that final moment was her and I sitting in my mom's living room and watching 42 together and talking about Oscar Robinson. And that's always been in my mind because shortly after that she passed away. And she had Alzheimer's, but she was coherent in that conversation. And so that's really how I remember her. And I feel I didn't know Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? It's not like he was my friend. And I think this is a weird year because this is the second time this has happened to me where I didn't know Kobe either. And I'm trying to figure out why it's so emotional for me. And I think why, if you could explain it, right? Imagine that scene that we just described with you upside down having questions. There was music in that scene, a background, which was Death Cab for Cutie in our stupid example. But if that scene was a memory, even though the music is the background and not the star of the show, which in my case, my memory is with my grandmother, it's still part of my memory. Chadwick was still there in a way. He was just the background music. And I feel losing him, it's hard because it's damn, bro, that's losing part of the memory that makes up my last moment. And I think that he was that for a lot of people in a lot of different cases. I mean, that was a little bit dark, but I mean, Black Panther meant a lot to a lot of people and hit people in different points in their life. And people remember who they were with, how they felt, the moment of the movie that moved them. And maybe Black Panther, because it's just a fictional character, maybe it was the star of the show for a lot of people. I mean, shit, it was a great movie. It could be the star of any memory. But even if it wasn't, even if it was just how you felt when you walked out, or what you thought coming in, or if you foolishly gave it a fucking 1-star trash can, even if you did any of those things, it's still part of the memory. Like, it's the background music, which still exists. And so I just feel like for me, it's like it's losing the person. Like, it's almost like it's losing that background music for a lot of my memories. And it's tough.
Yeah. I'm just thankful. Art is something not easy to make, and he made it look easy, and he was entertaining, and all of his movies are like paintings on the wall. So I'm just very thankful. Very sad because it's you don't get to see more, but I think to be on the bright side and to be happy is you got to see what amazing stuff. So sometimes, I mean, it's kind of a cliche, but sometimes the brightest stars do burn out a lot faster, and this is just some people don't take that for granted, and he didn't. So I'm very happy and very thankful.
I'd also like to
Absolutely.
add that, like, I feel like hearing his co-stars react has been pretty moving. To like the type of, like, because I've listened to him in a podcast. I've listened to like a lot of him as just a person, not Black Panther, not the King, but you get a real sense of just like, man, this dude was just grounded and humble and just a great dude. And on top of that, I feel like I don't know, like I think he's just gonna be missed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's preserved. His legacy is preserved forever. Wakanda forever. Absolutely. Well, let's move on to a lighter topic. We did an episode a few weeks back on Invasion from Planet Wrestletopia from Suspicious Behavior Productions. I had Matt and Ed on to talk about where the story came from, and the finale was finally released, issue 6, to conclude the story. So we got a chance to check that out. What do you guys think?
I actually quite enjoyed it. I think the best thing about this book is it's very enjoyable because it's not taking anything really serious. I mean, there's a serious plot line to save the world or to be the greatest, wrestler. But I think the end result was to have an enjoyable book to read and to laugh and to just make you smile. And I thought the end was perfect. I mean, you knew. I thought, is he gonna, is it gonna end the way I thought it was gonna end, or is it gonna change it up? It didn't matter because as I'm reading it, I'm laughing. I mean, I sent you guys those panels in Slack because they made me laugh, and I thought that was all that matters to me. The art is perfect for this book, and obviously the writing between those two guys, Matt and Ed, are spot on. So I enjoyed it. It was great. I mean, I'm not a huge wrestling guy. I did watch a little bit of Pat McAfee versus, Triple H and whatever that guy's name is.
Pat
Cole.
McAfee is a legend.
I know, and watching him, and I was excited about that because I got a little bit of background from the book. But yeah, I thought it was great. Perfect ending. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that for me, the story was just so compelling. Like, in the sense of, it's an easy read, and I was just turning the page so fast. Like, I was just like laughing and enjoying myself, and the time was just zooming by, and I really enjoyed it in that sense. I also feel like it's unique in the sense of just like how the characters still have like meaningful moments in like the midst of this like wacky, just zany ass story. And this is something that we touched on in our last episode, but there was a couple moments like in this final issue where I was just like, first of all, damn, people be dying out here. Like, all right, like the stakes are that high. But then also, spoiler alert on that one. But also, like, just I don't know. I just think the character has like these like come to Jesus moments that are so relatable. And it just, I mean, if that was their calling card as writers, just we're gonna build these super fun, super kind of wacky universes, but in the midst of those, we're gonna have like real down to earth character development moments and real relatable moments with it for the reader to kind of feel. I don't know. I feel like that's a recipe for success. I mean, it's just really cool to see in the midst of this wildness. I also felt like the ending, it felt good. You know, it was like, all right, cool. Like it all great. You know, I don't want to say anything more than that, but it felt good. It felt complete. And yeah, man, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I am a big wrestling guy, by the way. And the other thing I'll say is that the final match felt like I was watching a fucking WrestleMania match. Like it really did feel with there's two announcers and like the bubbles are two different colors. And that's like so WrestleMania. You have one guy who's like clearly for the other guy, and then another announcer who's for the villain or the heel, they call him. And like they try to remain objective, but they're like announcing it. I don't know. It was great. I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect conclusion to the story. I mean, it didn't skip a beat. The tone was there. The zany bizarreness was there, but it still maintained that heart. And I would say this, like, it's like the finale of an action movie. Like the sixth issue is all action. It's just one big battle royale, and it's perfectly to do that in a comic, without the superpowers that heroes can have. Like with most comics, and the action's fun because of like the unique abilities of each character, or like the explosions, the crazy like bosses they're fighting. This is just a wrestling match. Like, how do you make an armbar like exciting? But they do it, and they do it in a fun way. And yeah, I was laughing, I was entertained, I flipped through it in a heartbeat. Great job to Suspicious Behavior, Matt and Ed. You guys crushed it like we knew you would. So go out and check out that book. You guys will have a great time, and you'll fly through it, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's a great story. I mean, it's a great story.
It really is.
Yeah. Where can you get it? Did you say Comixology, right?
Yeah, Comixology. I believe you can get on that. I don't know if you can get it in paperback yet.
I don't think so. I think they said that was really expensive to get that in paperback. So I think the key thing to know is this is so independent. I mean, they put their own money, they put their own time, this is their art, and so to get paperback, you probably need to buy it on Comixology to help support and to help get it in that aspect. So everybody should definitely hit that up, because we're all about that effort from those small writers and artists that come through the waves.
Yep,
absolutely. And I know it's easy to lay in bed and flip through Twitter for like an hour and a half before you fall asleep. Lay in bed and flip through a comic book. Excuse me. Lay in bed and flip through a comic book instead. It's just get your head out of the weeds right now. There's no news on Twitter that's going to be very pleasant to read right now. So just find something that will be a good thing to read before you fall asleep, and you'll have much better dreams. Moving on, so this Friday, September 4th, Marvel's Avengers was dropped by Crystal Dynamics, who is the same company that made the well-received Tomb Raider reboot game. Have you guys had a chance to play it or look at the trailer or anything about this game?
I did a little bit of trailers. They showed a little bit of I watched a little bit of the Iron Man kind of setup for it, where he's building his new suit. But other than that, I have not. It looks really, really, really cool. But it's really hard when you get these gameplays or these like movie scenes put in a trailer from a game. Like, is it actually really good or not? So it's really tough.
I watched the trailer, and I've watched a number of like gameplay sessions pre-release of people being various characters. So a little bit more than JR, but still, I mean, I haven't played it. And I've also heard that because it's an EA game, that it's like a fat. EA's got a really bad reputation as like a game publisher, because they always like put in loot boxes and ways that people, they try to like get more money out of their audience and so on and so forth. So I heard that there was that kind of built into the game, which isn't a great review.
I don't know. So I picked it up yesterday, and I played it this morning. So I've only played it for about an hour. So I played the intro, and the only thing I know about, you have to create a Square Enix profile to get certain characters and unlock multiplayer. So you have to make that online, but I don't think that's.
Oh, there's multiplayer?
Yeah. So you have to beat the campaign to unlock multiplayer, and there's co-op and everything. So haven't got there yet, but playing the intro just based off gameplay, I think it's fucking great. It's very similar. It gives me very hardcore vibes to the Spider-Man game that came out for PS4. And what I really enjoyed about that game was the fluidity of the character. Like you felt like you were Spidey, just the controls, the swinging, his body control, like the abilities, tons of cutscenes. So you felt like you were playing a movie, which I really enjoy. Some people might want less of that. I really enjoy cutscenes. I think that they're fun and they add to the narrative. And so far, I've only played the intro, I said, but you get to play as Kamala Khan, who is the new Miss Marvel. You get to play as Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, and Black Widow. You kind of alternate through them as the story goes along. And
in the intro?
Yeah, in the first, I played like an hour.
Nice.
And you're trying to save the Golden Gate Bridge. So basically, you start out at this Comic-Con, and you have to gather comics as Kamala Khan. You're this little girl. You have to gather these comics on a scavenger hunt, and you meet all the heroes throughout that, and then you get to play as the heroes. But you feel the characters. Each individual character feels so much different in your control. Like, it's nuts. Like Thor, you have the heavy hammer and you feel the weight of it. And like every time you clink it on somebody, like you feel it in your controller. And you throw it, and then you have to press a button to retrieve it, and it takes time to retrieve. So people will like hit you while you're retrieving. Like it feels real. You can use your electricity when you use your power up. You have like each character has three unique abilities already. Hulk, you feel the power, but you're slow, but you feel like the weight when you land, like you just feel it. And you can jump and like grab on walls, and the wall will like crumble a little bit, and you can push off and jump on another wall. Iron Man, you're very like floating around, but you have complete control. You feel like a fighter jet. Black Widow is incredibly nimble and incredibly quick. Like you're just fast, and you have to use a lot of grapple and different counters and stuff. Cap, you're like you have to fight, and then you have a combo move where he just like submits him and like crushes him with his shield, and then his ability, he'll throw a shield, it'll bounce all around the room. Like it's just really fucking cool, and like you feel like you're the character, and each character is so different. Like I've only played an hour, so it could get different. The reviews have been very positive on the campaign, not so as positive on the multiplayer.
What is the multiplayer? Like, what does that even consist of? Is that PvP, PvE?
I think it's like I don't know if you play campaign multiplayer. I think it's like you have like challenges. Like you go and you have to like destroy this or destroy this many baddies or like destroy this boss or something like that. From what I gathered, and it gets kind of repetitive. So I think that's why multiplayer isn't as fruitful. Mm-hmm. But just from the campaign of it, man, I'm sold. So I definitely am a buyer of that, as I already have bought it. And shout out to my boy Hakeem at GameStop. He hooked it up. If you trade in games towards the Avengers game right now, if you go and trade in your old games, you get double the trade-in value. So he hooked me up with a lot, and he is gonna subscribe to our podcast and listen to the shout out on the episode he told me. So Hakeem, you my boy, and if your manager wasn't right next to you, I would have tried to poach you to work for me at Enterprise, because you can sell some shit, bro. So
I would have tried to poach you to work for Enterprise. What games did you trade in?
I traded in, so I just beat Paper Mario on Switch, so I traded that in. Great game. I traded in Luigi's Mansion 3, because I beat that a long time ago, and then I traded in the Final Fantasy 7 remake, because I didn't beat it, but I got pretty damn far, and I just stopped playing it.
What? You just quit?
No. Yeah.
Why?
I tried, man. I put in like fucking 12 hours in that game, and I was just like, I don't know.
Bro, I need more words.
I'm on an island in that game, man. Like,
explain to me how, after 12 hours, you decided not to finish that game. I don't understand.
I felt like I was putting my head down and trudging through those 12 hours personally. Like, I was not like, this is like, I can't put the controller down. I don't like the combat, and I feel like everybody else loves the combat. And I couldn't get into it, man. I miss the old school Final Fantasy turn-based RPGs, like classic combat, and like this one's more like you're moving around the room and you can still use, like, I don't know. I just wasn't that into it. Have you played it, or are you going off of just like reviews, Zach?
I'm going off of reviews.
Yeah, so it's got great reviews, and everybody I've talked to likes it.
But I'm also going off of I know what Final Fantasy 7 is.
Yeah,
like I know the story.
I know the original story too, and that's why like I know what I'm doing already. So it's like I never beat the original one either though. So moving on.
God,
I'm a Final Fantasy 8 guy. We've been over this. Squall and his Gunblade will take Cloud any day. So New Mutants came out August 28th into theaters. Some fucking how. They weren't in theaters up in here in Anchorage.
I don't understand. I'm confused.
I don't understand. Like, why?
I'm so
like,
confused too. We'll ask Anthony. That's one of the questions we ask him later on in the episode. So hopefully he has some answers for that. But
Hopefully.
I have no fucking idea how it came into theaters. Maybe there's some select theaters that are like 50% capacity right now. But that being said, it got like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. The reviews have been saying that this movie is an attempt at a comedy horror X-Men, and it just swung and missed. They have great character potential and no building off of it. They said if the Phoenix was a flop, then this was even more of a whisper that you wouldn't even know was there.
Oh shit!
Like, this is worse than the Phoenix. So take that for what it is. But I mean, I'm pretty disappointed. What about you guys?
I just don't understand why they're opening in theaters. Like, for me, I feel like it's so tone deaf to the moment and like to your audience. And I feel like there's really no reason technologically why you wouldn't just essentially do what Disney did and drop Mulan on like a streaming platform for a pay-per-view type of scenario. Like, I just think that I think that new movies should be coming out, but I think they should be dropping on platforms to stream from home and, you know, have a pay-per-view. Like, Mulan's $30 right now to watch on Disney Plus. That's fine. I'm probably going to pay that shit tonight and watch it. Like, I'm stoked for that movie, and I think that that's a good idea. Like, I don't think it's a good idea to just, like, foolishly bludgeon forward and release your movie in theaters and hope that, like, what was your expectation? You must have known. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like people aren't going to theaters. It's dangerous, and it's just tone deaf.
It is really stupid. I mean, Bill and Ted came out on Apple for like $20 or $25, which is very valuable to do, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I looked at all the platforms. I looked at like, where is New Mutants? Like, I don't understand even how they got a rating, because I'm pretty sure nobody watched it. So like, I don't get, you know, what the thought process in that is as well. I mean, I'm interested to watch it because I always am. I mean, I want to see how bad it really is. I mean, sometimes critics are assholes. You know, maybe they had a bad, you know, burger from McDonald's or something that day, and they, you know, give you a bad review. But
every single one got food poisoning from
every
McDonald's
fucking one of them, because there's only 4 of them in the whole world that probably watched it, and they probably went, "Hey, let's have lunch before we go watch the movie." and then they probably had the shits during the movie, and then they're like, "Fuck, I missed all the good parts." But
you know what it is, dude? You know what it is?
What?
They had some fucking kid named Ned that was the only kid working in the movie theater that day, and all their foods fucking expired because they haven't had the movie theater open for 6 months. And so these critics come in like, "Dude, we have this nacho cheese. I don't know if it's good, but you can have it." And they all had nachos and got sick.
It's like jelly, nacho cheese. It's not even.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like,
I think
it's supposed to be crumbly.
Mistake for sure.
Yeah, swing and a miss. I agree, and I had high hopes for this one. It looked dope. It has Arya in it. I mean, it had like the one highlight that I saw in any reviews was the scene that's in the trailer where not Psylocke but Magic comes out with that sword and runs up that big huge like bear and starts fighting that bear. Like,
that's
that
a great
dope.
character. She's a great character. That's Colossus' sister that deals with
right.
magic. Like, she's an amazing character in the comic books. Like, she's legit.
And arguably like more powerful than Colossus and some stuff I've read. So like it had so much potential, and I guess they just fucking fuck it. But we have questions and there's answers to be had. So without further ado, let's get some answers and go on to our first inaugural segment of Ask Anthony. All right, everyone. So welcome to our first segment, Ask Anthony. We have Anthony Gramulia of Comic Book Resource on here to ask 5 questions that we have for him. Thank you so much for taking the time for us, Anthony. So first question we have for you. What were 3 takeaways you had from the DC fandom event that aired a few weeks ago?
I think the 3 biggest takeaways are as follows: that the Batman looks incredible. We'll go into more detail on that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
That I would say also that the multiverse is going to be a huge element going forward. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with that. The Flash, I think, is just the beginning. I mean, there's so many different continuities in film universes that they've made over the years. Can you imagine if they start to integrate other elements too, like the television shows and the movies, even more deeply than they did during Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think it's a really interesting possibility. We might see, maybe Brandon Routh come back as Superman or something like that. That's interesting. Or even if we really want to be knowing how DC works, they'll probably find a way to bring Watchmen into the DC films somehow again. Maybe do a Doomsday Clock story somewhere down the line. I hope not, but it's a possibility.
Yeah. Eesh.
And the third takeaway, I think, is that the Suicide Squad looks incredible. Like, I think that King Shark is going to be great. I think Taika Waititi is going to voice him. I know they mentioned who's going to physically perform him in the movie is a different guy, but I think Taika is going to do the voice, and I'm very eager for that. I was thinking at first they're going to have Taika as Starro. I believe there have been some set photos that kind of confirm that Starro may be the big bad, but again, that's rumor at this point. It could be any number of things. I think a lot of guys are going to die, which is exciting because the last Suicide Squad felt very bloodless, I thought.
Yeah.
You're probably wondering what my takeaway from Justice League is, and I really don't have one. I think the trailer is whatever. I think they showed too much in the trailer, honestly. Like, they showed Cyborg's dad dying. I don't think they should have shown that, but I don't really... I'm going to watch it. I'll probably even like it, but I'm not enthusiastic about it yet. I'm sure it's not going to be as bad as everyone says it is, but I also seriously doubt it's going to be as good as everyone says it is. It's going to be fine, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not on an island with that one. I think that we are all on the same page that the whole Snyder Cut is very hyped, but let's just wait and see, Perfect. Well, question number 2. Matt Reeves taking on the Batman. What are your thoughts on him as a director?
Okay, so Matt Reeves, the Batman looks incredible. Matt Reeves has always been a director I've admired ever since... I never really watched Alias when it was on TV, but Cloverfield was a great film. That was Matt Reeves, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but his Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and those two films I thought were incredible. They were just some of the best science fiction I've seen. No, War of the Planet of the Apes. I thought those two films were incredible and amazing pieces of science fiction. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves is going to be amazing. I think Robert Pattinson, once he recovers from COVID, will continue to be amazing. I think that the Penguin looks great. I'm excited to see the Riddler. I think they're going to do like a Riddler-Hush combo, which would be interesting to see. I haven't seen enough of Selena Kyle in the trailer. I wish I could see more of her, but I get they haven't filmed all of her stuff yet. Commissioner Gordon looks great. I think Jeffrey Wright's going to be amazing in that role.
Beast.
He'll probably get a lot of backlash from racist fans, but you know what? He looks incredible. He's a great actor. I have no doubt he's going to be incredible. Matt Reeves, I think, I'm calling it now, will make the best Batman movie since the Dark Knight.
Okay.
I'm very confident. I feel like it has a good mixture of Tim Burton atmosphere and the dramatic crime tension you'd see in something like Seven, like a David Fincher film. I'm very eager to see where that goes.
What's in the box? Yeah, I like that. Okay. Question number 3, New Mutants. What the fuck? I mean, they released in theaters. We've seen the reviews. And first off, why theaters? And second off, why such a flop?
New Mutants. I think we've seen kind of already it's not doing the massive numbers, Disney would probably hope for. The problem is we're coming off of a pandemic. A lot of people rightfully do not want to go to the movies. I think you're going to see that reflected in Mulan's success as opposed to Tenet or New Mutants. New Mutants also isn't a particularly good movie, is the other problem. I haven't seen it yet, but it doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
I'm not eager to see it either yet. I'll watch it when it comes out on like tape or whatever, on VHS or something like that.
Oh, on tape, yeah.
Old horror films on VHS.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So this next question comes from our very own Zach Barlow. He was curious, who wins in a fight? Sabretooth or the Juggernaut?
I mean, what's Sabretooth going to do? Scratch at the front of his armor? Like, what's going to happen there? I mean, yeah, sure. You can get someone like Spider-Man to beat the Juggernaut. Venom were a little more crafty, I think.
Yeah.
You can get Xavier with psychic powers to beat the Juggernaut. But Sabretooth is just... he's clever, but that cleverness doesn't really. It's more survival and manipulation, but that's not going to take you far enough to stop the Juggernaut. He just plow through all your plans and punch you until you're in the center of the earth.
He's the Juggernaut, bitch.
One more thing I want to discuss is the passing of Chadwick Boseman, who was one of the great actors of our time. I'm not a black person, so I feel like my perspective on this is not the one you should be listening to purely. I feel for black culture, Boseman was he was an icon. He was revolutionary in the field of black cinema, and I am not a person who's qualified to discuss the greater implications of his legacy. I've avoided writing about it for that reason. I feel like I'm not the person who should write about this. You should really talk to black critics and black fans and black audiences about Chadwick Boseman. But if I could say anything, it's that I think the films of Chadwick Boseman, I'm not just talking about Black Panther, I'm talking about Get On Up, I'm talking about 42, I'm talking about Marshall, I'm talking about The Five Bloods. I feel these films will be rightfully studied forever. And I think that the fact that he was working as hard as he was to establish a cinematic legacy while battling with cancer, I think that's just something. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to take in. That he was doing all this, knowing what his roles meant to so many people, while struggling privately with this pain, with one of the biggest killers on the planet, cancer, and it's very disturbing, and it's hard to articulate into words exactly how you feel about that. Because on one hand, you're like, he did all this great stuff, he was doing amazing work while privately battling cancer. But I think what I'm trying to say is that you wish that he didn't have to suffer through that. You wish he could have not had to go to chemo for 4 years behind the scenes. You wish he didn't have to do all that horrible stuff on his, to keep himself alive. You wish he could have just been living a life, that he should have at the age of 40, You're not supposed to be fighting cancer at 40. You're supposed to be just, sitting back and, just watching basketball or football and drinking beer and raising your kids and, finding success in your field of choice. You shouldn't be fighting for your life against the disease and ultimately, sadly, pass from it. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about, and I'm not the person who's really qualified to discuss it in any meaningful manner. So take my words with a grain of salt. This loss is incalculable, not only to cinema, but also just to American culture in general. It's a lot. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. And thank you, Anthony, for being so candid there and speaking from the heart there. And just for our listeners out there, where can they find more of your work? Where can they find the product you put out there?
If you like my ramblings, you can read more of my work on the various websites I've been published on, which include CBR, The Mary Sue, Anime Feminist, Anime Herald. I'll be having more stuff on there in the future, and if you want to hear my random thoughts on just about anything, currently responding to the Omegaverse legal conflicts involving, you can look it up on yourself. You can follow me on Twitter at AGRAMUGLIA. That's Gramulia. My name is weird. Don't question it. On Twitter. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk, and I hope you guys can. That'd be cool. Take it, guys.
And we're back. And Zach had a question that I want to kind of put on the table there. So, can they make a great X-Men movie? There have been great X-Men movies. First off, First Class was great. Days of Future Past was great. X-Men Last Stand, probably the best movie made ever of all time. That movie was terrible. I'm just kidding. But
you better be sarcastic. I mean,
that's the one movie they said, the one X-Men movie they said, this is actually still not as bad as Last Stand. So it's better than Last Stand, apparently, according to these critics.
Okay.
But did you guys see the rumors that Shia is going to be playing potentially Bobby Drake
Yeah.
in the new X-Men reboot.
That's so weird. I don't know yet. I think we're up in the air. I think for me, I love Shia. I've been watching a lot of his, independent movies. Obviously, he's had to come up through that way again. And
Peanut Butter Falcon.
And he does a really good job. But he's also, he's kind of I guess my thing is he's been doing these dark roles. He's a great role. He's been doing a good job. And if he's going to go back to, let's say, Sam Witwicky, Transformers, because that's exactly what Bobby is kind of that laughing, giggling, fun all the time.
Witty.
Yeah, witty. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, we know it's going to be good acting. I'm just confused on why he didn't do Moon Knight instead.
I know. He would have been the fucking perfect Moon Knight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that was an opportunity missed if he's not Moon Knight. Or Wolverine. He could have been a dope Wolverine potentially.
Wolverine would have been.
If he stacked up and
he
kept
would have
the
been
beard.
in the top 3, I think, for Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think probably my number 1 Wolverine would be
Zac Efron.
Zac
absolutely
Efron.
not. The dude that played Bane. I'm sorry.
Tom Hardy.
His name. Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's a great.
That guy needs to be Wolverine, dude.
So Hardy's Venom.
He could play a mean Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think Shia. I'm a huge Shia LaBeouf fan.
Same.
Like I'm like deeply entrenched in Shia's camp. Have you guys seen Honey Boy?
Yes.
Not yet. That's
Oh
next
my
on the
God,
list, though.
It's just fucking fantastic, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's just a savant level work of art. Like I think he's a genius. He's weird as shit for sure. Like absolutely. But dude is like just a fucking. He's like our Daniel Day-Lewis, like of our generation. Like I feel like that dude's just a genius.
Yeah, he's.
Also, he's like a dope ass freestyler, which is a little fun fact.
Really?
Did you guys know this? Yeah. So so Shay in the Morning 4-5. That's like a rite of passage in hip hop. It's like an Atlanta based morning radio show. The host Shay is just a fucking like. I bet you if you Googled him and saw his face, you might recognize him. He's very famous. But
Is
he
that
does
the guy
this
on Dave that has Lil Dicky on in the episode?
Yes.
Or is that different? Okay.
Actually no. I think that's the Breakfast Club, which is a similar thing, but
Yeah,
slightly different host. But anyway, so Shay in the Morning has this thing called the 5 Fingers of Death, where he'll have like hip hop artists come on, and he'll have his DJ spin like 5 different beats at 5 different tempos. And if you can, and so as a freestyler, you have to be able to like not only just freestyle, but adjust your delivery to the different beat, to the different tempo, blah 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 blah. Like, and a lot of rappers don't do it. And Shay like is very vocal about like, yo, if you're a new school rapper and you don't want to do the 5 Fingers of Death, you're a fucking bitch. Like he's very audacious about how he feels like rappers that aren't willing to like go through it are trash. Anyway, he had Shia LaBeouf on his show, and they're just like talking blah blah blah, and they start talking about the 5 Fingers of Death, and Shia's like, yo, yeah, I rap. And she's like, word? and so they put him through. So there's a video on YouTube. You can Google literally Shia LaBeouf, 5 Fingers of Death, Shay in the Morning.
We're going to need to put it on the IG, dude. We got to put that out there for him.
Let me just tell you. He kills it, bro. That man's got bars, bro. No lie. Like a lot of like professional rappers don't go through the 5 Fingers of Death. Shia shines through it, dude. Like he's just like, and Shay loses his shit afterwards. Like he's just like, you're the best white rapper I've ever heard. Like, what are we doing? Make an album. So
Eminem's just like rolling in his fucking den of trailer park where the fuck he's at now.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just a little story, but I do want to say that I think that Shia LaBeouf's like Iceman, him playing Iceman, bro, he's just looking for a payday. And I'm not mad at him. Like I feel like that's fine. Like I think that you got to get paid to be able to do the project you actually want to do. He doesn't want to be Iceman. He doesn't give a shit. I feel like he just was like, oh, this is a Marvel movie. Oh, what's the paycheck? All right, yeah, I'm with it. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, that's amazing, and I'm not surprised he's a great rapper. For some reason, I'm not surprised. But
really?
I think he's just like, he can do anything. He's just that weird. I feel like he's been pushing to get in this universe, though. So I think there's more to it than the paydays. From what I've heard, he's been trying to get in for a little bit. So maybe he's just trying to get in for a payday, or maybe he has some heart behind it. But any way we can get Shia in the universe, whoever it is, I'll take it.
I'll take it too. But I will say I'm a little bit disappointed that it's Iceman. I just feel like it could
that's
have
the
been
rumor.
Better.
who knows? Hopefully they'll make a twist. But on a side note, so I don't know if it was like a month ago at this point. Zach was on the mic talking about how he was painting his kitchen, and the spray paint got out of hand, and there was paint everywhere. I believe that was like a month ago. And then Zach, can you do a favor and lift up your arm again? How is there still paint on your arm from? Like, that was the same spot. There was paint on your arm.
It actually
like
kind
a
of
month
is, which
ago.
is weird. Yeah,
no, below the white paint, dude.
Oh, there's white paint too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's two colors of paint on your arm.
Okay. All right.
What is happening?
I will explain. It's not the same paint. Yesterday I went to Alicia's parents' house and helped them paint their house, which was actually kind of wild because they live in it's a tall house, and we had to have like a 30-foot ladder, and Alicia and her mom were climbing up these two 30-foot ladders, and I had to spot Alicia. And bro, it's fucking nerve-wracking to have your wife 30 feet in the air, leaning to paint a corner, and the ladder shaking and shit. I was like, all right, man, if she falls, I will literally die to catch this girl. There's no way she's gonna fall. And meanwhile, Alicia's dad Steve, yeah. I mean, her mom's 65, and she's up 30 feet in the air. She's a daredevil, bro, badass. And Steve was getting pissed, bro. Steve was like, Elaine, don't. You could tell he was super stressed out. I was stressed out too. It was a stressful time for everybody, but we got the job done, and that's why there's paint on my arm because we were painting the house yesterday.
That's just a new tradition. Every day, Zach's gonna have a different color of paint on his arm with a different story.
I hate painting too. I don't know why I've been painting so much. I really hate it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. All right, well let's conclude with a little teaser. We've been dropping the boys lately, and we're gonna do a full season recap when the season's out there on Amazon. But JR and I have had a chance to watch the first few episodes that are released. JR, first thoughts, man. What do you think?
There's a little bit of a build-up, so it's kind of a slow episode, the first one. There are some, oh shit moments that made me, laugh out loud and made me, I was in shock, because there's some people who die right away. You're, quick dead. And the gore and the violence is going to, from what I understand, is going to be even more in this than ever. And right off the bat, it already is. So it's in spots. Like I said, it's kind of a warm-up episode. So it took me a little bit longer to watch, but I am excited about it, and yeah, I'm just I'm happy that it's going down this path, at least so far. So far. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't miss a beat from season one. It starts out just brutal and gory, and Black Noir is just fucking shit up in the jungle, and it's sick. I have two takeaways. So my first takeaway is I can't get enough of Homelander. I just fucking asshole. I love that creepy character, fuck. Dude. He's so good at just turning on a dime and going insane. When they're having the tryouts for the new hero for the Seven,
spoilers.
His
I
response.
Watching this
I'm not saying anything in particular. I'm just saying his ability to respond, and just change his demeanor is just he's such a great character. He's captivating. I guess I have three takeaways. My second takeaway is they're obviously not going down the same path that Volume 2 and the comics went down, which I'm a fan of. I saw a couple takeaways from that, but the Seven are still very prominent. It still surrounds them. That's what I want to see. My third takeaway is I have concern about the love stories they're trying to implement. I don't give a shit about Huey and Starlight. They're really honing in on that a little bit, and they're also adding in a new love story that's just God, don't do this. This isn't what The Boys is about. Don't fucking make this Hollywood and focus on love stories, because I'm gonna lose it if that's the case. So hopefully it doesn't go too far down those roads, because God, I check out when that shit's on. Yeah. But other than that, very excited for it. The humor, the gore, the just brutality, it's all there. So that's our Hopdate so far. So before we head out, you guys have anything you want to plug?
Nothing from me.
No.
Have a good Labor Day weekend.
Absolutely.
Love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Enjoy your extra day off before the grind.
Yay. And by the time this episode drops, Labor Day will be come and gone. But the NFL season is upon us, and the Hop Heroes pod in the podcast league is taking the ship this year. So Fantasy on Tap. Good luck vying for second, because first place is taken, y'all.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't even.
All right. Well, don't even start a lineup.
Just get over it.
Right on, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. We can always find us at Hop Heroes Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget about our pull box promotion. Any comment, subscription, review, just send us a direct message or organic post promoting an episode, and we'll shoot a comic book to your doorstep from JR's pull box. With that being said, catch you all next week.
Peace.